Good morning, the great Indians. How are you? Have you started studying the first unit life process in biology? If not, immediately start, because students, this is a golden opportunity. We can utilize our time for study and learn each and every concept thoroughly. Okay, so in our first two videos, I started the life process. Under that, we studied the nutrition, what are the life process, and the first nutrition in plants as well as animals we completed. So today I am going to start with the new life process, that is the respiration. Now here on the screen you are able to see the picture of the forest or the greeneries. Here the image try to show that wherever the plants are grown, plants are the lungs of the earth. They provide the oxygen to the humans as well as the plants for their nourishment or for their life. Okay, so this is the first slide. Now we will first study what is the difference between breathing and respiration. You are able to see on the screen. Majorly these slides I prepared to explain in a simple way, and you can note down these things in your classwork copy. So here first you understand what is the difference between breathing and respiration. So first point, whenever the organism is taking the fresh air inside the body and removing the foul layer or the carbon dioxide is nothing but a breathing. But respiration is nothing but a oxidation of a food to form a carbon dioxide, water and energy. Simple means in our first life process we studied the nutrition. Whatever the nutrients our body is taking, that is circulated in a body and through the blood circulatory system. Then this respiratory substrate in form of a glucose, they are stored and then it's a breakdown. They provide the energy to us. So oxidation of these respiratory substrate is nothing but a respiration. Now second point in our breathing. Breathing is a physical process, whereas respiration is a biochemical process. Third point, in a breathing, no energy is released, rather used, but energy is released in the form of ATP. What is ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. Fourth point, in a breathing, extracellular process. Extracellular means the breathing takes place outside the cell and respiration takes place inside the cell. Fifth example, in this breathing, no enzymes are involved, but for the breakdown of respiratory substrate, or you can term it as a large number of enzymes are involved. The last point of a difference, in a breathing, confined to certain organs, but respiration occurs in all the cells of the body. Now you just have the types of respiration. What are the types of respiration? You are able to see on the screen. There are two types of respiration: anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. Simply, anaerobic respiration takes place in the yeast, bacteria, or during the fermentation process. But aerobic respiration takes place in all the plants and animals, okay, as well as the human being. So just read. When nutrients are oxidized without the use of oxygen, it means the anaerobic respiration. In yeast, glucose forms ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. What are the end products in anaerobic respiration? Ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide. Whenever we play or we run, sometimes we have the pain in our muscle. So due to deposition of a lactic acid, that pain occurs. That is also a anaerobic respiration. Endoparasites are also example of anaerobic respiration. Now aerobic respiration. When nutrients are oxidized with the use of oxygen either from the air or from water. External respiration, exchange of gases between the blood and the air. Transport of gases to the tissues, internal respiration, exchange of gases between the blood and tissue. And cellular respiration, oxidation of nutrients in the cell and release of energy. Now, mechanism of breathing vary among the different groups of animals mainly on their habits and levels of organization. So here lower invertebrates and vertebrates, the things are given. Sponges, coelenterata, flatworms. Do you recall class 9 biodiversity? We studied the different phylum. So these are the different types of organs, respiratory organs, which helps in the respiration. Gills in a fishes, okay, lungs in the human beings, and earthworm have the skin as a respiratory organ. Now here it is the given human respiratory system. Now towards the left hand side in the slide, you just see respiratory pathway, nostril and nasal chamber. So now I'll take more closer to the diagram. You are able to see, children? Now see, this is the nasal cavity. Nasal cavity, we have the two nasal, right side right nasal cavity, left side left nasal cavity. This nasal cavity is separated by a bony plate. Okay, so air enters through this nasal cavity and then it reaches to the windpipe. Here the cross section shows oral cavity, epiglottis, vocal cord, pharynx, larynx, esophagus, trachea, right lung, left lung, upper lobe, pulmonary artery, aorta, middle lobe, lower lobe, pericardium, diaphragm and lower lobe, heart. Okay, now see one by one. So how here this is the respiratory pathway, nostril and the nasal chamber. As I told you, human being is having two nasal cavity, right and left, separated by a bony plate. Then wind enters into a windpipe. There you will find larynx and pharynx. What is pharynx? In the first nutrition chapter in a human respiratory system, digestive tract, we studied this pharynx. Pharynx is nothing but a common passage for the respiratory tract and the digestive tract. Larynx is located below the pharynx, that is a indication of a sound box. We are able to take a different voice or we can talk with the help of this sound box. Now the air enters into this trachea. This is nothing but a trachea. This windpipe is covered or made up of with the C-shaped cartilage. You are able to see. So this C-shaped cartilage helps in when the air is not present in this windpipe, these C-shaped cartilage don't allow the windpipe to collapse. So that is the major function. They may ask in a board, they may ask the question, what is the role of C-shaped cartilage in the windpipe? Okay, children. So this is trachea and or windpipe. This second branches into bronchi. Bronchi again divide into two, right and left. These bronchi again have the finer and secondary branches, that is nothing but a bronchioles. Bronchioles end into a balloon-like structure, that is nothing but a alveoli. In a human being, the respiratory organ is lungs. Now see the nostril. Okay, nostril are the external opening of the nose. These are also called as external nose. Similarly, a pair of internal opening is present. They open into pharynx. This is called internal nas. Nasal chamber, the space between the external and internal nares is known as nasal chamber. As I told you, right side right nasal cavity, left side left nasal cavity. Each one is lined. Inside, mucous membrane is there, which helps in capturing the impurities or the dust particle which comes along with the air. It is made up of with the ciliated epithelium. We already studied in the tissue chapter 9 class, that is ciliated epithelium, which helps in a removal of the impurities of the nose. Now each nasal chamber is further divided into 3 regions: vestibule, respiratory part and sensory part. So vestibule, this is the anterior part of the nasal chamber. It has a hair to trap dust particle and prevent them from growing inside. Respiratory part, this is the part richly supplied with the capillaries, and it warms the air and makes it moist. So this part is very, very important. It acts as a conditioner, means whenever during the summer, whatever the air enters into the respiratory tract, it cools down, and during the winter it makes the air hot. So according to that, this chamber or this membrane helps as a conditioner. Next part is sensory part. This is lined by a sensory epithelial for the detection of smell. With the help of nose, we are able to smell nicely. Now pharynx. What is pharynx? Pharynx is nothing but a common passage for the respiratory tract and the digestive tract. Nasal chamber opens into the pharynx. It is a short vertical tubule measuring about 12 cm in a length, and the respiratory and the food passage crosses each other in the pharynx by 2 separate passages. So that is nothing but a larynx. Now this is the larynx, is sound producing box. You are able to see in the picture, and also called as sound box. In males, the larynx increases in the size. That's why it is termed as Adam's apple. In a male, it is quietly visible in a mature person. From the pharynx, air enters into the larynx through an opening called glottis. We already studied glottis, epiglottis. Glottis is covered by epiglottis when the food is passed from the mouth to the digestive tract. Okay. Now trachea. You are able to see trachea. This is the trachea. See, this is the trachea. It is also known as windpipe. It is about 12 cm long and 2.5 cm wide. It lies in front of esophagus and extends towards into the neck. The wall of the trachea is made up of the fibrous muscular tissues supported by a C-shaped cartilaginous ring. Just now I told you, these are 60 to 20 in number. They make the trachea rigid. The trachea is internally lined with ciliated epithelium and mucous gland. If any foreign particles enter, it immediately expelled out by cuffing action. Whenever we cuff, ciliated epithelium helps in a removal of these cuff. Now coming to the bronchi and bronchioles. The distal end of the trachea is divided into 2 bronchi behind the sternum. Sternum is nothing but a bony shaped structure present in the ribs. Each bronchus is supported by a complete ring of cartilage. It enters into the lung of a respective side. On entering the lungs, each bronchus further divides into secondary, tertiary bronchi, and this tertiary bronchi ends into a alveoli. Okay. Now see the children. Now here completely see. This is the trachea, then bronchi. This bronchi again having the tertiary and secondary and tertiary. These are all branches of bronchioles, and these bronchioles at last end into a balloon-like structure. We will see the balloon-like structure. You are able to see this balloon-like structure, children? See, this is a balloon-like structure. Now, inhale this. Okay, wait. This balloon-like structure, alveoli, is a balloon-like structure, bunch of balloon-like structure, which helps in a exchange of gases because it is made up of with the semi-permeable membrane. So, whatever the lungs receive the fresh air through the nasal cavity, it diffuses in the chamber, and in the meantime, whatever the carbon dioxide containing blood comes from the heart to the lungs, it exchanges the carbon dioxide as well as the oxygen. Now this is the mechanism of a breathing. Now see, inhalation and exhalation process. So this is the rib cage. You are able to see. This is the rib cage, and the bony-like here structure is, this is nothing but a bony-like structure, that is a diaphragm. These are the lungs. Okay, now this is the inhalation process. During the inhalation, see, inhalation process and exhalation process. During हम जब inhalation means हम सब सांस अंदर ले रहे, exhalation हम जब सांस बाहर छोड़ रहे. So during the inhalation, diaphragm is nothing but this bony-like curved structure which helps in a inhalation and exhalation. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so in breathe in means inhalation. During that, this diaphragm, bony-like structure, contracts or moves down, and during the exhalation, the diaphragm relaxes or moves up. Now, inspiration. It is an active process brought about by the ribs, intercostal muscles, sternum and diaphragm. The intercostal muscles contract, pulling the ribs outward, and increases space in the thoracic cavity. The lower part of the breastbone, that is the sternum, is also raised. The diaphragm contracts and becomes flat. The volume of the thoracic cavity is further increased, pressure of the lungs decreases, and the lungs expanded to the respiratory passage to make the pressure equal. So by this way, children, today we learn the respiratory process. You just read twice and thrice, try to copy down and practice this respiratory tract.